To see the fully uncut version of this video, head over to patreon.com/Jonjo Lyons.
What's that like to live deliciously? Chaos reigns.
Please don't scream.
Nah, Sid! Don't you blame the movies! Movies don't create psychos! Movies make psychos more creative!
What's happening? My name is Jonjo Lyons, and today I'm here to present to you my review for Header. Written by Michael E. Kennedy, adapting a book from Edward Lee, and directed by Archibald Flynn Cranston, Header stars... all of these lot. Header portrays the grueling psychological journey taken by ATF agent Stuart Cummings. On the surface, Stuart struggles to solve a string of bizarre murders, but in secret, his life falls into a world of corruption that's impossible to escape. Deceit, rape, and murder spiral out of control, triggering a hellish conclusion that defies description. Hello, you alright, mate? Living a happy life free of the worry that someone's gonna drill a massive hole in your head and have sex with it? Well, allow me to ruin that. While trying to decide what to cover this week, I took a look at some of the more recent videos and realised I haven't covered anything truly upsetting in a long while. Enter Header, the low-budget adaptation of the Edward Lee novel. Yeah, that's right, it's based on a book which automatically makes it high art. You, Mark Commode. Header at its core is a story about family, sacrifice and revenge, making it easily one of the more interesting films that I've covered for the channel. It just so happens to also include brain displacement via the penis, the thickest accents this side of the Mississippi River, and one performance that might now be my favourite of all time. You'll know it when you see it. Trust me when I say that this one is going to be a lot of fun. But before we get into all of that, I just want to remind you, you can see this video completely uncut and early at patreon.com/Jonjo Lyons for as little as $2 a month. For that, you gain access to the uncut reviews plus all the bonus content, including full review videos that aren't allowed on YouTube anymore because of copyright reasons. Unjust copyright reasons, I might add. And of course, the Discord community, which I don't mind saying is my favourite thing to come out and make in this channel. And if you don't have $2 but still like the content, please like this video and click subscribe. It's free, it really helps, and I really appreciate it. But anyway, I'm in the mood to watch a scene multiple times just to try to understand what a character said, so let's not waste any more time. Get ready to discover the female's forbidden fourth hole! This is Header. The movie begins in the olden days as we find this kid playing with his dog. He peeks through this door and sees two men arguing when the older gentleman starts poking Liev Schreiber in the chest. We then cut to this woman running from the old fella. Cut to ATF agent Stuart... Wait, hold on a second. Cummings? Cummings? Are you having a laugh? Cummings, who at first I thought was played by Desmond Harrington, but unfortunately it's just some other guy. Desmond Harrington is a boss that you might remember from Wrong Turn, The Hole, and the fact that he got to Dexter's sister Deborah. I really am so in love with Deborah Morgan, I don't care if she's fictional or canonically dead. Spoilers. Anyway, it's a different actor. He puts some veg in a baggie, then stops to look at this picture of him and his girlfriend, transporting us back to that happy time. Whoever's taking that picture, I can guarantee you they are already sick of this couple's bullshit. Things seem to have turned sour, however, as we see a prescription and his girlfriend's name pinned up as well. He flips through the multiple pages before returning them to the fridge and going to check on his beloved. Cut to Stu waking up his girlfriend and giving her lots of kisses. He offers to go and pick up her prescription, but she's sweet, saying he works hard enough as it is and she'll go get him later.
No, it's no problem, babe.
No. Are you going okay? You doing enough as it is?
And I've got to tell you lot, honestly, I'm really worried about her. A beautiful, innocent, supportive girlfriend with a medical condition? Not only is she not long for this world, but I suspect she's gonna go out in the worst way possible. She once again thanks him for all he does and goes back to sleep when Stuart places some money down for her and we cut to him arriving at work. Which, for the office of the ATF, I was expecting a little bit better. I know we're out in the sticks, but couldn't they do a little bit better than a f***ing shed?
Hey, Stu.
Hey, Jeff.
The older fella, JL, tries to invite our boy to a party in Knoxville, but Stu says he ain't interested in going to Redneck of the Year. They then start to talk about work, with Stu saying he's come up with nothing on the last few rates. JL moves the conversation onto Stu's girlfriend, asking how she is, but he just says the same and the medical bills are killing them. But for how long, eh? Hopefully not very long at all. Cut to the local prison as we watch this fella, Travis, step out into freedom with a smile. He then takes a long walk home, eventually arriving at the last place you'll ever see alive. Where inside we meet Travis's cobbler grandpa, who, I've got to warn ya, is a bit of a legend.
Travis, Clyde, talk to you. Come here, boy. Whee, come over here.
What? The pair hug as Grandpa is overjoyed to see his grandson back in the world. Travis apologizes for coming straight here fresh out the pen, but Grandpa ain't hearing that, saying he's blood and always welcome in his house. That's when Travis realizes Grandpa is now missing his legs.
Grandpa, what happened to your legs? Oh, don't you worry about that, son. I was old, couldn't get around much anyway.
Goddamn diabetes, that sweet tea gon' took Grandpappy's legs, so it did. But how? Grandpa then asks about Travis's time in the pen, with him recounting a very romantic time in the shower.
I grabbed his hand and I slammed him up against the and I took that shave and I stuck it straight in his eyeball. You should have seen it, Grandpapa. You should have seen it.
Grandpa excitedly asks if he killed him, but Travis says nah, he just stuck the shiv so far into his eye that it hit his brain and made him a
Good for you, boy. Oh, your pa, be proud. God rest his soul.
Travis then says he'll try to get a job and help around the house, so Grandpa gives him a bunch of tasks, finishing with something special. You see, Grandpa wants to get off, and at first I thought he was going to request a handy J from Travis. Luckily, what the old man actually wants is to watch his grandson give someone a header.
I still get a kick out of, well, you know, watching.
Watching what?
Headers is what I mean.
Travis gets hyped, saying as a boy he'd hear his dad and Grandpa sit on the porch and talk about headers. Then when he asked what one was, no one would tell him on account of him being so young. Well, now Travis is of age and Grandpa decides it's time, saying all he needs is another participant and this.
And the second thing you need is this.
Oh, what? What's in the box? Is it Gwyneth Paltrow's head? It's never Gwyneth Paltrow's head. Anyway, cut to Stu.
It ain't Stu. It's Agent Cummings. Understand?
All right, calm down. Agent Cummings as he extorts money out of this criminal. He tells them he wants more money for turning a blind eye to their hooch runs, and the criminal says Paul ain't gonna like it. Stu could give two f***s about Paul and makes it clear that this is how it's gonna be from now on.
Agent Cummings! You're not hearing me! I want more money!
This guy is the best. What an amazing line reading. The criminal says he can hook him up with another guy, Dutch, who runs drugs, and that'll net him quadruple what he's already getting paid. This piques Stu's interest as we cut to Travis sorting himself out a ride. He sets off, quickly finding himself a lovely lady who he stops for and offers a ride. She jumps in and is happy to see she recognizes Travis from when they were young.
I don't mind telling you now, but I kind of had to fix him for you.
Aw, she seems sweet. Oh, Jesus Christ, Travis, what the f*** are you doing? Travis dumps the girl in the footwell and drives away as we cut to him arriving home with his prize.
One of them dirt-eating blonderies.
I'm sorry, mate, but what the f*** did he just say? I'm not gonna do this the whole video, but that is one thick accent. I'm gonna be guessing like 90% of his dialogue, so if I get something wrong, don't blame me. They tie the girl down as Travis recalls back in the day she stole a bunch of apples from their tree and his dad had a fit. Which is as good a reason as any for what's about to happen to her, I guess. He then reveals her marvelous meat monsters and asks Grandpa what to do next. We cut to the POV of the girl waking up as Grandpa says like anything this will take practice. He then calls himself and Travis's pa the best head humpers from here to New Orleans and drills a giant hole in the girl's head.
Well, what you gonna do with that, Grandpa?
What the f do you think, Travis, mate? Put two and two together. What follows is an extended scene of Travis literally f***ing the girl's brains out.
Oh, boy.
Which is made all the worse with the addition of Grandpa just having the best time.
Give those brains a good squirt, boy. Yeah, give it that kiss. Oh, yeah. Oh.
This movie isn't fun anymore.
Your pa be damn proud knowing you just spewed a load of your pecker snot in that Reed girl's head. Yeah.
Cut to Stu himself off out the open door of his parked car. Good lord! Finished, he sparks up a cigarette and takes off into sudden darkness, eventually pulling up at a crime scene.
What's a COD? Blunt trauma to the head, looks like.
Yeah, no shit, mate. Dong force trauma. Which is a sick band name. Stu wishes them good luck and buggers off as we cut to him arriving back at the office in the morning. He reads the dead girl's report, finding one specific strange detail.
Note, further autopsy diagnosis reveals a peculiar aspiration of human seminal fluid.
She's got cum on the brain. Like your mum! Jay mumbles something about a header which Stu hears before his colleague tries to change the subject. Stu presses him on the matter, but J.O. ain't budging, instead pulling rank and ordering Stu back on the streets to chase his own cases. Stu leaves and gets in the car, still wondering what a header is before driving off. Don't worry, mate, I'm sure you're gonna find out sooner or later. Either you or one of your loved ones. Poor girlfriend. Whatever her name is. Cut to Travis and Grandpa chilling. Travis smiles as he says the header was the best thing he's ever had when Grandpa explains that this is the only way to get proper revenge around these parts. He then sends the boy to go get firewood as they're gonna make raccoon sausage for supper. Plus this bloke is coming around to pick up some boots from Grandpa, and since Travis apparently already f***ed up his parole, it's probably best he not be seen. Cut to how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could f*** an innocent woman in the hole he just drilled in her skull? Then to Grandpa with a customer.
These here pieces of probably bust open on me in a week.
Them's the finest boots in the damn county, Taggart. Nowhere, not in one of them big city stores.
Grandpa tries to argue his case as Travis plays Metal Gear Solid outside, listening in on the fight. The customer then takes his boots without paying, asking what the footless shoemaker is gonna do about it, and as he leaves, Travis whispers there's something he can do about it. Cut to Stu and the criminal heading inside this house to meet their new contact. There he gets jumped by Dutch, who accuses him of setting him up.
This is a setup. I will kill you right now, motherfucker.
You think it's a setup? Well, you think I'm lying? Then search me.
Stu explains about the medical bills and how in 5 years working for the feds, he's never had a promotion. This seems to convince Dutch, who irons out the details, still not letting Stu out of the sink as we cut to Travis on the prowl. He has a conversation with this woman that the sound man wasn't around for, then lets her into his truck, leading to the expected result. But why? Travis then drives away as we cut to him dumping the woman on the table.
Seen the way Letterkenny ripped you off for your boots? Went right what he did. Some weasel getting back proper.
Ah, I see. So she's the daughter of the boot thief. To be fair, he should have known if he stole those boots this would happen. It's the only logical recourse for such a heinous act. Right? Travis then asks why they go to the trouble of drilling the hole. Why can't they just crack her head open with a hammer and have at it? Short answer is you don't want sharp shards of skull cutting your to
Ooh, the next thing we know is he's running around screaming, blood squirting out his stipper like he's taking a red pee.
So, good advice, Grandpa. Good advice. At least this lady wasn't awake for the procedure like the last one. Silver linings.
Ooh.
All finished, Travis says there ain't no way his grandpappy is gonna watch him have a header and not get one himself, so he picks the old timer up and heaves him into the woman's head by hand. Hey, wanna see grandpappy's cum face? You're welcome! With him complete, Grandpa says that's the best thing to ever happen to him in his life, and Travis says there's a lot of people around here that have done his family wrong, and they're gonna have themselves quite a few headers.
How's that sound, Grandpa? Thank Almighty for blessing me with such a fine grandson!
He then goes to dump the body as we cut to Stu putting his girlfriend to bed. He gets in next to her and after a moment of silence asks what's wrong. She says she should have told him that she knows things are tight right now and how hard he works. Unfortunately, the doctor has given her another prescription for a new antibiotic and this is going to be an additional $300 a month on top of what they're already paying. Now, I don't know much about anything at all, that much is clear, but I am sure that an ATF agent, even if they worked out of a shed in the middle of nowhere, would still get health insurance, right? Maybe it's because she's just his girlfriend that she doesn't qualify? She apologizes again when Stu reassures her, saying she doesn't need to worry as he got that promotion today. They kiss and he tells her to get some rest. Also, they can't have sex because she's so tired from her illness, but, and hear me out now, can't he just empty out into her with minimal effort? He's not asking you to get on top, Kathy. Stu takes one last longing look at his love as we cut to him smoking and cleaning his gun. The phone rings and after checking the late hour, he answers.
Cummings. Coles Point, you say? I hang tight, I'll be there in 20.
There's been a few instances of creative editing in this movie so far, and while I'm not in love with it, I've got to respect them for giving it a go. Cut to the newest crime scene when Stu arrives and is taken to the victim, the boot thief's daughter. Or wife, or daughter wife, or daughter wife cousin mother. Take your pick. They take a closer look when Steve discovers her head was drilled open rather than being cracked open. Stu then discovers a pile of literal shit that has been stepped in.
Looks like a pile of shit. Damn right, Chad. And it's been stepped in.
This American remake of Sherlock Holmes is wild. Cut to these shots of a comic JL is reading as Stu storms in talking about the dead girl. He says it's the same MO as the previous victim and he's already sent the boot print to the lab. He also mentions the in victims 1 and 2 had a blood type of A positive, whereas victim 2 had both A positive and B positive, meaning 2 people that woman's skull. Which is some actual detective work that his superior doesn't seem all that impressed about. Also, the boot print came back as a homemade boot, meaning all they have to do is find the local shoemaker and they'll find their perk. For someone who routinely wanks himself off out of his car door, that's a pretty good work, mate. JL still treats him like shit about the whole thing when Stu finally demands to know what a header is. JL gives up the goose, explaining that round here everybody hates everybody and a header is the worst thing that hill people could think of. It's been understood for generations that when someone does you wrong, it's an eye for an eye. This is why JL says Stu's police work is a waste of time, ending that the only strange thing is the body being left out in the open. Usually the body would be left on the property of the victim's family. We watch him try to process this ghastly information, then cut to a montage of Stu doing his drug runs and Travis heads and taking names. Cut to Travis dumping yet another body while justifying his actions with the Bible.
By doing so, I was even following God's word.
Which isn't as much of a stretch as you might think. Why, in John 14:7 it reads, "And the Lord blessed the woman with a head not for thinking, but for the entering of the penis." "But how?" cried Peter. "How may the penis enter without a hole to grant passage?" Then there was a bright light, and in Peter's hand was a brand new Black & Decker drill. "Go forth," the Lord said. "Go forth and that head while I stroke it." Yeah, that's right, you little that head. Cut to Kathy crying as she remembers yet another supportive and loving conversation between her and Stu.
I don't know.
I can't do anything. I can't get up, I can't cook, I can't clean, I can't even make love to you.
Kathy.
Again, Kathy, just lay down and let Stu go on a low dumping spree. Maybe the will turn into stem cells and sort out whatever the is wrong with you. I don't know, I'm not a scientist, but it's worth a shot, innit? Stu again reassures her, saying she's gonna get better, and when she does, they're gonna go on that cruise.
One of these days you're gonna leave me and I wouldn't blame you.
How dare you say that to me? Are you serious?
Oh, come on, Stu, don't shout at her, mate. Give the poor innocent woman a hug. Stu aggressively tells Kathy that he loves her, and we cut to them sleeping, with Stu having one of those scary voiceover nightmares.
Cops on the tape, they're gone. You want to take it. Cops, everyone's taking it.
He answers the phone and we cut to him driving to the forensics lab. There the technician gives Stu Travis's name matched in both blood type and a fingerprint found on the body. Now Stu has a name and a face, but Travis's last known address was burned to the ground, so he's gonna be looking for a needle in a Garth Brooks concert. The tech tells him not to expect much help from the higher-ups as they ain't interested in hill folk killing each other, so Stu says it's up to him and jumps back in his ride. Cut to Stu at a payphone after getting a page from his criminal buddy. The crim tells him to meet him as they've got a large run to do. Cut to Travis watching a lot lizard at work, then driving away. The woman gets out of the cab screaming about being ripped off before quickly being picked up by Travis, strangled unconscious and abducted. Cut to Travis dropping her on the table as we learn she's a relative of some other family who f***ed over Travis's pa back in the day. Travis then spits liquor on the woman, waking her up grumpy. After the pair are done, Travis goes one step further by p***ing into her head as we cut to Stu picking up his delivery. Just as they're about to load it, however, the agent has a better idea.
What the f*** are you doing, man? Jesus!
Stu then robs the scumbags and gets the f*** out of there. Cut to Travis and Grandpa sitting on the porch. Poor little Travis is sad he never got to skull someone with his dad before he died in a car wreck. He says there's a lot more than meets the eye to his family's demise, and Grandpa admits he's quite right about that.
But let me tell you from the beginning.
No, let me tell you from the beginning. Some guy from another family, Cordell, got rich from the land he bought from Travis's pa. He knew the ground was filled with natural gas, so ripped him off and bought a mansion. Anyway, Travis's parents were driving back from the lawyers one night when they got run off the road by Cordell and his two boys, causing the dad to go through the windscreen and be decapitated. Only problem, Travis's mum was wearing a seatbelt, so she didn't die. Well, not straight away at least. Can you guess what happened?
They tore the clothes off and they had themselves a header. So bastard, they head off your mom.
Oh, you can give it but can't take it, I see. You might want to think about this the next time you're spoofing all over some poor innocent girl's brain. Cut to Stu dumping all the drugs out into the river. What the f***, man? Then back to Travis as he prays to God, asking he get his chance for revenge. Back with Stu, he picks up this lady and offers her a ride before questioning her about Travis. The woman is familiar with him, so Stu asks where he might be staying these days. She says she doesn't know, but does give the location of Grandpa's old cabin as we cut to Stu on his way. Over at Grandpa's, Cordell drops by to visit, offering to buy a load of boots, but the old man ain't having it, telling him to f*** off.
So poor out here, you're gonna blow your nose in your hand whenever you gets hungry. Ain't got nothing but crusty sticks for feet. Ain't got no life except sitting here staring at the wall.
Hey, leave Grandpa alone, man. I know he's a bit of a knucklehead, but don't make the man cry. Nothing worse than an old man crying. Apart from getting f***ed in the brain. That's worse. Travis then bursts in as we cut to Stu arriving at the scene. He creeps over to the cabin, gun drawn, as inside Travis gets his end away. It's times like this that I wonder, do I really want to move to America?
I was gonna in his head so hard, Grandpappy, it's gonna squirt out his ass!
Yeah, I do. I'm sure this is rare at best. Stu then enters and wastes the pair of them.
It's a cop!
Look what you did! Oh, you son of a bitch! You killed my grandson! You killed Travis!
I'm gonna miss you, Grandpa. Sure, I couldn't understand half the shit you said, but hell if I didn't love you, you nutbag. Stu goes to call dispatch, but unable to get an answer, goes back in and for some reason boxes up the drill, then gets the f*** out of there. He arrives at the office not long after and rushes in to tell the good news when he's introduced to this who tells him that not only did they have him on video murdering those drug dealers, but one of them, Dutch, was a cop.
He was a state narcotic plant, working a sting. We had cameras on the inside and one on the outside for tag numbers.
You're an asshole.
They tell Stu he's under arrest and try to get him to come quietly when everything goes to hell. Jesus Christ, that was a powerful pistol. Damn near put that fella through the wall. Stu then flees the scene, freaking out on the way and then arriving home. At least his wonderful partner can talk him down, right? Together they can fix this. Through love, anything is possible.
Come on, Mark. Cut me another line.
Oh no. Oh no!
Dr. Seymour, I think I need some more medicine.
No wonder that medication was so expensive. Kathy tries to beg for her life and it almost seems to work until Stu shoots both her knees out. Stu then goes outside and breaks down in tears as he realizes he's ruined his life for nothing. We then flash back to the pair in that memory when Stu snaps out of it and decides there's only one fair course of action. He grabs the drill and heads back inside. The end! Well, what a mind eh? Hedda is a movie that at first felt a little too weird and silly, but over multiple viewings it seems to have grown on me. There's just something incredibly charming about this production. The low budget and minimal locations, the sparing but brutal gore, the performances that not only cross the line but go back and the Lyons' mother in front of it. I kinda love it. The story is simple enough as we follow a cop on the trail of a serial killer. Not so usual is the killer's MO. The brains of his victims. I love that we follow both Stu and Travis equally, splitting the story and allowing us to see both sides of the up coin, and I imagine this is also the structure of the book the film is based on. And you can really tell this is an adaptation. Every time one of the characters sits down to tell a story, I can imagine that being a chapter in the book, and I'm assuming the movie sticks extremely close to the original text. I'm gonna have to track down the book and its sequel, aptly titled Hedda 2. If I had one complaint, it would be that the Cordell character just kind of comes out of nowhere. Grandpa tells the story of Mama's departure and the there the next day. I think we could have done with peppering him throughout, maybe not revealing his identity until the point they do in the movie, but still having him about, you know? Next is the cast, and there's a lot to love here. Grandpa is an unintelligible Fruit Loop, Travis is the ultimate redneck, and Stu is an absolute nutcase, amoral as and ready to explode with a fantastically delivered line at a moment's notice. The supporting cast are also all fine, but these three really made the movie for me. Onto the gore, and like I said, it seems like they're holding back a little bit. This has got to be down to the budget, as the filmmakers don't strike me as the most squeamish considering what we do get to see. I'm not even sure how they could have made it worse. I just want it worse. Do I actually want to see Travis's going into a brain? Maybe. Shoot it and we can decide later. Presentation-wise, the film is good for what it is. They managed to get a few good locations out of what I hope was one bit of land with multiple buildings. It's shot fine and the editing is interesting. I wasn't totally sold, but there were some instances of creative editing that I liked. All in all, Hedda is a movie that I liked more and more with every viewing. It has incredibly entertaining characters and performances, a nice amount of gore, and an unhappy ending, which is my favourite. It's a shame the headhumpers die at the end, because I could have easily watched a series of them rocking around and doing their thing. But as it stands, I guess I'm gonna have to make do with what we got. Here's hoping someone picks up the reins and gets part 2 made. And this time, maybe a shot of a brain? Yeah? Cheers. So that was my review for Hedda. What do you lot think? I really did have a lot of fun with this one, and it makes me pine for the book adaptation that I would love to do, but no, I'll never be able to because the book's just too extreme. Maybe one day. I do wish it was bloodier, however, which does make me worry now more than ever that I'm desensitized to violence beyond the point of proper judgment, so maybe just ignore me there. Speaking of which, if you want to see Travis get half his face exploded completely uncut and early, head over to patreon.com/Jonjo Lyons. There you can find the uncut version of this review, plus others with more stuff being added all the time. We got the uncut reviews, Patreon exclusive reviews, slasher comic breakdowns, commentaries, and the Discord. And all that can be yours for as little as $2 a month. You can pledge more, I really appreciate it, as I need to buy a fake head, fill it with mincemeat, and drill a hole in it. Don't worry about why. So that's it for another week. Like the video, leave a comment, and click subscribe if you haven't already. My name's Jonjo Lyons, and head aside, you gotta admire the unconditional love shared between Travis and Grandpa. You know your family situation's when you're jealous of a couple of headhumpers. Thank God for you lot. See you next time.